where the real ones fight, not foreign code. Beyond the junkyard, no script, no mercy, read your mind. Beyond the junkyard, where the real ones fight, not foreign code. Beyond the junkyard, no script, no mercy, read your mind. Beyond the junkyard, 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 beyond the junkyard.
Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Beyond The Junkyard podcast. We took a week off last week, and as you can tell, something's changed in our return. I'm Junkyard James. I'm here every week that we go live, but my co-host, the man with the most sauce, Cody Marinera, we wish him well, because he is a new dad. Congratulations. So he will be not on the show tonight. He's obviously taking care of his 3-day-old son, making sure that the newborn and mama are well taken care of. Congratulations. He deserves the time off. Hopefully, maybe, we'll see. He'll be back next week. That's to be decided. Obviously, we understand if he can't be on the show next week. But we still kick and scream and go because this is Beyond the Junkyard and we like pro wrestling. So you don't have to. I just want to take a moment before we jump into today's topic and say a few things, get a couple housekeeping things out of the way. If you are watching this on YouTube, welcome. Join the conversation. Comment your thoughts below. And let's have a good show tonight as well. Let's like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this on my personal Twitter feed, I appreciate you for tuning in and watching. And if you're not watching this live, but you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, afterwards, in the coming days after, we still appreciate you tuning in and listening to the show. Leave us a 5-star review, like, comment, share, all that jazz with that as well. We got a website. I don't know if you're aware of that. junkyardmediagroup.com. We've updated the website. Hey, we got ourselves some articles on there. Check out the website, and you can see all of our social media links and all of that as well. Go to junkyardmediagroup.com. You can see and read those articles as well. We'll get into some of that TNA stuff a little bit later. That's a quick aside, but go to junkyardmediagroup.com. And lastly, before we jump in to the main show, we got to give a big shout out to our partner and our what powers the show, what gets me through the show when like 9 o'clock's a late start time. I understand. So sometimes we need a boost of energy there. And so we got to say thank you to Dubby Energy. It's your taste buds' favorite energy drink. And it comes in these tubs and you just take a scoop, pour it into some water, and get that jitterless, crashless, really good energy that contains 0 maltodextrin, 0 fillers, 0 artificial colors, 0 artificial dyes, none of those proprietary blends that some of the other companies say they have. The star of the show is the coffee fruit extract. You get a jitterless, jitterless, crashless energy drink that helps with your helps you focus and all of that jazz. If you go to w.gg, use the code Beyond the Yard at checkout. We got you a 10% off code here, my friends. Go to w.gg, use the code Beyond the Yard to save 10%. All right. So I don't know how many of you guys watch when I do a Saturday show, and we're going to kind of run that format. So I only got one big thing to talk about tonight, and that's the title of this episode. Is this the end of TNA? I think eventually, at some point in time, the WWE will buy the company. And I'm going to break it down to you in a segment that I like to call on my Saturday show the monologue. So everybody, if you don't watch a Saturday show, you're in for a treat. This is the monologue. All right, so like I said, we're going to talk about TNA Wrestling tonight. More specifically, we'll be talking about why I think TNA is currently in some serious trouble, why I think WWE may eventually buy the company. And not that it's possible, but that it's inevitable for it to happen. And I just got to take a moment real quick before we really dive in deep to talk about this segment and say, I've been saying this since the very beginning of that so-called WWE TNA partnership. Like, I've been joking the whole time that it's not NXT, it's NXTNA, that eventually AAA will be called NXTNA Mexico or something like that. I've been saying this from the very beginning. Like, when everybody else like celebrated the WWE TNA partnership, when everyone talked about WWE doing their own version of the quote unquote Forbidden Door, when fans started fantasy booking, like Joe Hendry's going to fight this person and Steve Macklin is going to do this and we're going to get, like, I could tell from when TNA were bringing people like Joe Hendry and Mike Santana to NXT, and in return TNA got some jobber off the street that has an NXT contract. I could tell that this was the end of TNA, right? I kept saying I think this may be the end game for TNA, right? Like, because I mean, let's just be honest, WWE doesn't do this by accident. They don't just work with different promotions by accident. WWE doesn't enter relationships with independent or secondary promotions without having some form of purpose behind it. And I've always believed, and I still believe to this day, that the entire reason WWE and TNA entered a partnership was for the eventual process to be WWE buying out TNA. And I want to make one thing clear off the top of this episode. I don't want TNA to fail. I don't hate TNA, right? Like, actually, I appreciate the role TNA has played in the history of pro wrestling. Before there was AEW, there was TNA, right? Like, I didn't grow up watching TNA every week. Like, I wasn't there for the Spike TV era, like watching it live. Like, but I've caught up with the history. I've watched a lot of it. In fact, TNA back in 2019 or so was actually my favorite wrestling promotion. Like, right before the AEW, like right when AEW entered the scene, like TNA was the show I was going to. When like the Tessa Blanchard story when she won the men's world title, I was all in for that, right? But I don't remember Samoa Joe's run. I don't remember AJ Styles' run. I watched a little bit of Kurt Angle's run. I went to Bound for Glory when it was in Concord, North Carolina, back in 2015 or so. Drew Galloway was there. So I don't hate the company. I appreciate where they are, what they've done in the grand scheme of things for pro wrestling. But let's just make one thing clear for a moment, if we can. For all the innovation, for all the things that TNA has done to positively affect the industry, for as good as the early years were, the last several years have been kind of a failure, right? I mean, think about this for a minute. At one point, TNA was drawing over 1 million viewers a week. Like AEW has only done that a couple weeks of their entire year. At one point in time, the company was doing it on a weekly basis, drawing over 1 million viewers. Nowadays, they can barely get over 200,000 on AMC. For the fans of today's TNA, that sounds like a like a pipe dream. There was a time when TNA wasn't just surviving, they were thriving and they mattered. And because they mattered at some point in time, it is really frustrating to see what TNA has become, right? Because what we see for TNA nowadays is as a company just desperately hanging on for dear life. And I've watched a little bit of TNA the last couple of months, and it's not great. It's not great television, I promise, right? And here's the sad reality of things. One of the things that makes wrestling fans different from fans of basically every other form of entertainment is we become emotionally attached to more than just the performers, but rather the companies at large. Like I'm a fan of the Buffalo Bills, as you see on the wall there. I love the Buffalo Bills. I'm emotionally attached to the Buffalo Bills. I'm not emotionally attached to the NFL. I'm not emotionally attached to any other team in the NFL. I'm not emotionally attached to Roger Goodell. The reality is, with pro wrestling, you get emotionally attached to the promotion rather as well as the individual wrestlers. People loved what ECW represented. People loved WCW as a brand, ROH as a brand, TNA as a brand. And because of that emotional attachment, sometimes it's easy to ignore some warning signs. I mean, we've all done it. Like, I mean, there were warning signs back when WWE was about to buy WCW, right? And those were ignored. We've all seen, like, the red flags and just ignored it because it's our brand, right? We've all convinced ourselves that things will turn around. Like this was the average WWE fan in 2018 when like Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin were throwing dog food at each other. Eventually it'll get better. It might be shit right now. Eventually it'll get better. Oh, the next television deal, things might change. But eventually reality catches up. And thank God for AEW, because without it, me personally, I wouldn't be watching pro wrestling. Unfortunately, I believe reality is beginning to catch up with TNA. And the warning signs are becoming impossible to ignore. I mean, think about it for just a moment. Just the brief history of the past, I'd say, couple years, right? So Chris Silva comes in, or is that his name, Chris Silva? Maybe, I don't know. Scott D'Amore gets kicked out the door. He creates Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. But ever since then, now TNA is working with WWE. and the product gets stale. I mean, it's really stale. Yes, WWE helped them get a TV deal, but what good is it when the product sucks, right? So I just wanted to give that brief intro before we dive deep into this theory, why I think WWE is inevitably going to buy TNA. And let me say this, absolutely, there's a possibility I could be wrong here. I've been wrong before making wrestling predictions. Just a couple weeks ago, I was wrong, right? I came on here and said the Carolina Hurricanes and their fans weren't hot shit. And guess what? This Saturday, the Carolina Hurricanes and their fans will be celebrating in Raleigh, North Carolina, that they won the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I'm wrong sometimes. I say things sometimes that are passionate but maybe emotional and not based in reality. Or in the case of the Hurricanes, I just, every time I talk shit about them, they end up proving me wrong. And so this could be one of those moments where I'm proven wrong, right? I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, but based off what I'm seeing and based off history of what WWE has done in the past, I think we're witnessing a pattern play out that is going to repeat itself. All right, so let's talk about the current situation TNA is in. One thing I've noticed about wrestling fans and honestly sports fans in general is that we often, like I said before, ignore warning signs until it's too late. And when you start looking at TNA objectively, like bird's eye view, it's zoom out quite a bit, you start seeing warning signs everywhere. Let's start with some talent departures over the past several weeks, right? Because talent turnover, I mean, it happens in every company. Nobody stays in a company forever. What's concerning me, though, isn't necessarily that people are leaving, but who is leaving and how many are leaving at one time. So it starts with Steve Macklin and was it Mila Grace? Like, they had just signed Mila Grace, gave her this big push, and then automatically she wants her release. Steve Macklin calls whatever that guy's name is a cuck on the show and then walks out. We see now this week, Tommy Dreamer says that he's out. Tessa Blanchard is out. Sami Callihan is out. Other backstage production things are out. TNA makes this big spiel that they're streamlining the company. Like, all of this to me reads future sale. Right? Now, regardless of what you think about any of that talent, right? Regardless of what you think of Tommy Dreamer or Tessa Blanchard, Sami Callihan, etc., regardless of what you think of them, I mean, these aren't just random names. These aren't just bench warmers. Like Tommy Dreamer, he ran the backstage. He ran the booking of TNA for quite some time. He was a big piece of TNA and the culture there, right? And he was one of the people who helped shape this modern identity of TNA, right? Sami Callihan isn't a nobody. Like, at one point in time, Sami Callihan was the face of TNA. Now, for pro wrestling fans' sake, this might be a good thing, because wouldn't Sami Callihan and the Death Riders just be absolute magic? Right? Steve Macklin was a trusted, dependable wrestler in TNA. Someone that TNA invested a lot of time and resources and big matches in. And Tessa Blanchard, she's a controversial figure, no doubt about it. But she was the best damn thing that Knockouts division had. She was a major name, and they let her go. With names like that, like, how do you keep your fans interested? Oh, we signed Allie, and then no disrespect to Allie, but she's no Tessa Blanchard, bro. She's no Tessa Blanchard. I mean, Tessa Blanchard is history for your company. The first female to ever win a men's champion. A knockouts champion. A big part of the history of your company. And you don't think other wrestlers in the back are seeing these people leave and wondering, maybe I should get my ass out of there as well? Maybe the culture isn't great in that locker room. Man, I just don't get it. I don't get what's going on in wrestling right now in TNA, right? You know, because like, wouldn't you as a wrestler want to know that the company you're working for has some form of direction? Right now, it feels like TNA's just going in a circle. Does it not? If you were a fan of TNA, wouldn't you want to know that the company that you're investing your time, your money, maybe you're buying a ticket. You know, they're 2 weeks away from Slammiversary, and some of the biggest names in the company's history are walking out. Like, does that red light should be blinking, bro? Like, where's the direction of the company? What's the identity of TNA? Oh, right now, the identity of TNA. Hey, he might not be on the show, but he's in the chat. The identity of TNA is LOL TNA. What's up, Cody Marinara? Stay saucy in the chat for me, my friend. What is TNA in 2026? Like, they used to have an identity, right? Like, I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm legit asking a question. What makes TNA stand out from any other wrestling promotion in the show, in the game, in the business, right? What's the selling point? What? All right, so like Slammiversary on the 28th. What is your selling point when you have Slammiversary on the same night as Great American Bash for NXT, and then AEW has a show, Forbidden Door, and then my local indie show AML has a show on the 28th. It seems like there's a lot of wrestling going on the 28th. What's your selling point when I have a bunch of options that night to get me to watch your show? Like, it used to be, we have the X Division. We had a 6-sided ring. We're that alternative. Right? No, not today. I don't know if you can ask a TNA fan this question and they can answer it with a straight face. What's the identity of TNA? And when your own identity becomes difficult to define, it's you're on the road to failure. Like, that's just how I gotta say it. You're on the road to failure. Eventually, your audience, they start leaving. And say, you know what? There is no identity here. But I can watch Great American Bash, and I can watch, I don't even know who's on NXT nowadays. I can watch them wrestle. Or I can go watch Forbidden Door and watch literally a dream match. Zack Sabre Jr. is fighting Kenny fucking Omega? That's a pretty good selling point there. Mercedes Moné is defending the last championship she has, which is the Owen Hart Tournament champion. Can she win it back-to-back years? Is she going back to Wembley? Will Ospreay fights Swerve Strickland. Winner goes to Wembley for the World Championship. Man, I mean, AEW, they sell me. Take my money. Take my money. Like, the card is shaping up to be really good, by the way. We'll have more on that next week when we do our Forbidden Door prediction show. But man, guys, like, what's the selling point for TNA? I mean, and I'll tell you, honestly, there's one of these things that has hurt TNA for several years. It's like, it's just a revolving. How many times Has Matt Hardy shown up, left, went to WWE, came back, shown up in TNA, left, go to AEW, go back to WWE, show back. Like it's a revolving door. Wrestling shows up, fans get excited. People say, oh, this might be the beginning of something new. 6 months later, they're gone. Mila Grace, Steve Macklin. I mean, remember Steve Macklin's story? He had they did the, was it Feast or Fired or whatever thing? I don't remember what it's called. And he had the fired briefcase, so they fired him in storyline while they were working on his contract. He re-signs a contract with you, and then like 6 months later, he's calling the owner of the company a cuck and walking his ass out the door. That's a problem, bro. It's just this revolving door of talent coming and leaving, coming and leaving. Oh, TNA signed Allie again. Let's go. That'll move the needle. Oh, watch Slammiversary. The Amazing Red's going to show back up. That'll sell tickets. That'll sell tickets. Whew. Eventually, fans stop mentally investing when you just bring someone in and then let them leave, and bring someone in and let them leave, and bring someone in and let them leave. Fans stop investing, and why should they, right? Why should I get attached to your company if I can't even get attached to your stars? Let me breathe for a minute. Let me check the chat. Cody says, I can't wait for Omega and Sabre Jr. next Sunday. Same. This is going to be a good show. One negative of AEW real quick, if I can. I don't like that last night we had a 12-man tag match for setting up a 12-man tag match in a steel cage, which is the same 12 people. A small thing. I don't like that we have to see that match back-to-back weeks, but small details. It's okay. He also says, by the way, I'm literally watching the show and commenting why Baby Marinara is sleeping on me. Dad life is the absolute best thing ever. Well, take all the time you need, my friend. That's all I can say. I know you're welcome to back next week if you want to come back. If you want to pause dad life for an hour and a half. All right. So let's jump to the big part, right? The theory, the next part of the theory, why I think WWE eventually is going to buy the company, right? So there's a talent problem. You have your good talent leaving, and then you have the television problem. And this is the part of the conversation like wrestling fans hate to talk about. The ratings, the numbers. Because when this automatically comes up, people start to get defensive. They start to act dumb. Like literally like they lost all rational thought. Man, ratings don't matter. Nobody watches on cable anymore, bro. Okay, maybe that's true. Maybe cable is declining. Maybe streaming numbers have changed viewing habits. I'm not saying you're wrong there. Maybe social media matters more than it used to. But let me tell you one thing real quick. Television executives who spend millions of dollars and get millions of dollars of sponsorship dollars, and the networks and the advertisers, they care about the fucking numbers, bro. They care about the numbers. At the end of the day, professional wrestling is still a fucking business. And unfortunately, TNA's TV audience has struggled for years. Up until recently when it's on AMC. Could you name me what station TNA Wrestling has been on? Was it Spike TV, Destination America, Pop TV, Access TV, now AMC? Remember when I told you earlier in the show, hey, TNA used to get 1 million viewers a week. 1 million viewers a week. Well, WrestleNomics has the viewership for last Thursday show. 191,000 viewers. Way to go, guys. 191,000 viewers. A rating of 0.02 in the 18 to 49 demographic. Look, those numbers don't necessarily mean nothing, but they mean everything to the advertisers. They mean everything to the executives. I'm sure AMC's fucking kicking themselves that they let them have this TV time. You can't bring me 200,000 people on an average. Like, people have to watch the TV for it to matter. Like, getting a TV deal, like, kudos. What matters more is getting people to tune in. Right? WWE gets that. I mean, their numbers aren't great, but they're still pretty decent. WWE's still king of the pack when it comes to viewership. AEW understands they got to get people to show up. That's why, as much as I hate it, as much as I hate that they put the world title on the line for free a lot, the reason they're doing it is because they know it draws numbers. Collision this past week in Cincinnati, Ohio, 364,000 viewers. The week before, well over 400,000 viewers. 496,000 viewers the week before. That's on a Saturday. Cody says, I'm pretty sure MLW Fusion had more viewers last week than TNA did. Which, by the way, I don't know if people know this. Quick aside, MLW Fusion you can watch for free in Japan on New Japan Pro World. They replaced AEW with MLW starting this week. So if you have a VPN, you can go and sign in through Japan and watch MLW Fusion for free with your New Japan World subscription, if anybody wants to do that. What I'm trying to get here is, yeah, the ratings still matter a little bit. I mean, they don't mean a whole lot. I mean, why? If the ratings don't matter, why do? Let's step aside from wrestling for a minute. Why do Fox and ESPN and ABC and NBC and Amazon Prime and Netflix fight for the big games for the NFL season? Want to know why it takes so long sometimes for the NFL schedule to get released? Not because the schedule isn't made, but because the TV execs are arguing over which games they get. Oh, Netflix is doing a triple header on Thanksgiving, Christmas Day. Well, we'll do a triple header on New Year's Eve. Or, oh, they're doing a Black Friday game. Well, we'll do a Christmas Eve game. Or, oh, they're doing a game here. We'll battle them here, right? Oh, Fox gets an extra game. Well, CBS wants an extra game. If the ratings didn't matter, why are they fighting for all of this? Because that's how the TV companies get their money, through the advertising dollars. Why is it such a big deal that ESPN gets the Super Bowl this year? Because that's probably going to be the most money ESPN makes in the calendar year of 2027. When advertisers spend bajillion dollars to get prime time advertising slots for the Super Bowl. Why do streaming companies like Peacock and HBO Max and all, why are they so obsessive over getting subscribers? Because that's how the advertisers pay them. Why does any business in America track how much money they make? Track how many customers they have? Why do they use and utilize Google Analytics and AWS to track data and track numbers? I mean, imagine going to like your day job, right? Sitting down and saying, listen, I get sales are down, but I mean, the sales numbers don't really matter anymore. At least the people that are buying are enjoying the product, right? You'll be packing your bags. You'll be carrying a cardboard box of your stuff to your car. You'll be updating that resume before lunchtime. And it's not just the TV problem. I don't have the subscription to WrestleTix on Patreon, so I don't know the updated numbers for Slammiversary, but the ticket sales for TNA are almost fucking laughable. Like, laughable. Ticket sales suck for TNA. Like, we talk bad about AEW sometimes using really big venues and they shouldn't. Man, they're struggling to sell tickets to Slammiversary. Let's see if I can do a quick poll, or maybe my guy can find the numbers before I get to it. I don't know. WrestleTix. See if I can find Slammiversary info. All right, the latest update was from the 6th of June that I can find on Twitter. 3,500 seats as the setup. They've only sold 1,300 seats. That's on the 6th. I don't imagine they sold much more between the 6th and what's today, the 18th. I don't imagine they sold the 2,100 extra tickets in the 2 weeks since this last update. I just imagine they haven't. But even so, 3,500 seats for a pay-per-view? That's bad, bro. There's no momentum there. Nobody. They talk shit about AEW running like 100 seat arena, but it was sold out and the crowd was popping. Imagine you're at a 3,500 seat arena with it 33% full for a pay-per-view. I mean, here we go. As of last Saturday, 1,670. They haven't even hit 2,000. They sold what, half of that arena? I don't know, man. That's crazy. I mean, I get it. WWE has bad crowds and AEW has some bad crowds. But man, it seems like every show, TNA, they're having to do some gimmick to get people to, like, AJ Styles is showing up. Buy your tickets to see AJ Styles. We'll put him in the Hall of Fame. And here's the truth. I think this might be the hardest part that some wrestling fans may not like to hear. Sometimes companies that were once relevant lose their relevance. WCW, ECW, Ring of Honor for a period of time. And even now, like the Ring of Honor we have now is a shell of what Ring of Honor used to be. You know what I mean? And I think some of the old school TNA fans don't want to see TNA lose what it was at one point in time. But man, they've been trying to recover for like 15 years. they tried with that Monday Night War experience, trying to go against Monday Night. They had Hogan and Bischoff run it, rebranding to Impact Wrestling. King of the Mountain was it? I can't remember what Jeff Jarrett's was it GCW? I can't remember what it was called. The King of the Mountain stuff. Creative Disasters. What was her name? Dixie Carter running the show. I mean, there's been an identity problem for a while, right? But it's just magnified now because last year they were doing pretty good and now they're doing shit. You know what I mean? So what's TNA's identity in 2026? What are they known for? What makes them unique? If the answer is, well, I mean, remember that partnership they had with WWE? You've proven my point. If your identity involves another wrestling company and you've already lost the plot, bro. Your identity cannot be another company's entity. Eventually they'll buy you out. Like, imagine if you go to, like, I don't know, what's the identity of Taco Bell, right? And your answer was, some of their stores have KFCs, so I mean, I guess that's okay. That would be bad for Taco Bell. Now, obviously, that's not their identity. Taco Bell's identity is like, Baja Blast, Chalupa, crazy thing. I don't know. They have the same 8 ingredients in about everything they make nowadays. But you know what I'm saying? Like, Taco Bell's identity is separate from KFC's identity, and sometimes they have restaurants that are merged together just to save on the space of the building. But Taco Bell's identity is not identical to KFC's identity. At some point in time, TNA's identity became identical to WWE's identity. And when you're identical to somebody else, you've lost the plot. You've lost your way. And this is why I've never bought into this hype that WWE is only partnering with TNA so that TNA can get a better end of the deal. That was never the case, right? That was never the case, bro. It was cool. Joe Hendry showed up. Mike Santana. You get Trick Williams as TNA champion for a while. Kalani Jordan goes over there for a while. What's in it for WWE, right? That was the question I was always asking. WWE isn't a charity, bro. They're not helping TNA because Triple H woke up one morning and decided, I won't bury a company this week. I'll be nice for once. Like, they had to get some return on investment, right? And what was the return on investment for WWE? Access to talent. Joe Hendry now is a WWE contracted wrestler. Rumors are Mike Santana will be a WWE contracted wrestler soon. Secondly, it allows them to have an inside view of the company so that at one point, if they want to purchase it, they know what they're getting. Thirdly, you're allowed to test the waters. And eventually, when the merger happens, now the fans are used to it. Because you can still keep the TNA branding. You can still keep the name TNA as a show, like they did with ECW. That's an easy transition, bro. The fans will be conditioned to approve it as one and the same. They've already begun to accept the relationship. And I said history has a way of showing this to be true. WCW was bought by WWE. WWE bought the library of ECW. They bought Evolve Wrestling. They've absorbed Progress Wrestling. They've worked with companies before eventually increasing their influence. I mean, it's wrestling history. We've seen this happen before. And to those who say, oh, there's no way WWE decides to buy TNA. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? TNA has a lot to offer in terms of the library, the name, the history with Kurt Angle and AJ Styles and Sting and original X Division footage, the rights to team names like Beer Money, Broken Hardys, the six-sided ring tape. You know what I mean? All of that content, the entire history, the library of TNA, all being WWE's, like that's value, bro. They'd get something out of that. They'd put it all on Netflix or Peacock and make a lot of money that way. The library matters more than the company itself to WWE. So even if they bought TNA and just disbanded the company, at least they had the library. But I got to be honest. In some ways, it's a mystery that TNA's lasted this long, right? So I got to give them some props that they've survived as long as they have, right? I mean, that company has survived ownership changes, creative disasters, bankruptcy scares, Dixie Carter, broken rings, Sting versus Jeff Hardy at Victory Road 2011, rebranding, no identity crisis. They've absorbed a lot and they're still here. So, hey, I guess at some point TNA somehow surviving another decade. That might be the most TNA thing imaginable, right? My bad, bro. My bad. Oh, goodness. I mean, could I be wrong, though? Yeah, absolutely. I was wrong about the Hurricanes, the Carolina Hurricanes. Very wrong about them. Fuck you, Danhausen. And I'll be wrong again in the future, you know. I'll probably be wrong next week when I make some predictions about Forbidden Door, right? Maybe TNA changes course for the good, finds its footing, finds an identity, finds a fan base, people show up, more ticket sales, and the ticket sales improve. Maybe they find the next hidden gem to be the next AJ Styles. Maybe. But when we look at the company right now, my prediction here is this. It might not be tomorrow. Might not be next month. Hell, it might not even be next year. But at some point in the very distant future, WWE will buy TNA Wrestling. And when that happens, you'll have all the talking heads and pro wrestling the content sphere. Oh my God! Who knew this was going to happen? Me, bitch! I knew the whole time it would happen. And it's going to happen at some point. The partnership was not the end game. It was step one. Leave a comment. That's about all I got tonight. What do you think? Am I off base? Am I right? Will TNA turn things around? Let me know. Follow us on X and on Instagram at Junkyard HQ. Don't forget to come back next week at 9 o'clock for the live stream. Hopefully, should everything work according to plan, we should get Cody back for the prediction show. But until next time, my friends, my name is Junkyard James. This has been another episode of the Beyond the Junkyard podcast. I don't say it as good as him, but whip up some sauce this weekend. Stay saucy, my friends. We'll see y'all next week.
This is wrestling without the filter.